The war in Ukraine is taking its toll on neighboring countries, with mines drifting through the Black Sea and Ukraine, and Russia both denying responsibility for them. Nearby countries like Romania are monitoring their waters to defuse them, but fishermen now go about their work fearing for their lives. DW's Funny Fachar reports from Romania's Black Sea coast.
Jorge Georgiou loves his job fishing on the Black Sea. But since the war in neighboring Ukraine, his attention is on more than just mackerel and mussels.
Victor.
Yes.
Did you see a mine?
No. Flamingo is the lucky one.
Flamingo is the name of a fellow fishing vessel that most recently spotted a sea mine. Jorge and his team need to fish to make money, but he says the fear of mines is making things difficult.
At night, we often fish for mussels, but that's limited now. You can't go if it's foggy, or if the moonlight is not bright enough. You have to stay in dock. We're afraid to go. Why would you risk it? You could die.
The Black Sea has always been crucial for those who live on and from it, but it's also vital for those who pass through.
Before the war, it was the most important route for grain coming out of Ukraine, but that war has made the Black Sea a terribly dangerous place. Navy ships like this one are now tasked with monitoring for mines and defusing those they find.
Sea mines that are floating on the Black Sea are relatively cheap to produce but difficult to spot. Currents and waves can move them around.
Gentlemen, what we'll do today is start the procedure to eliminate the mine that we just identified on the water surface. As always, act according to your training. I need you to get your diving suits on. Be ready to get into the water and take action to remove this mine.
Before the war in Ukraine, these specialist divers were tasked with defusing sea mines from World War II. But now they are facing new ones. Whether originally planted by Russia or by Ukraine to defend their ports, the danger is the same.
Our missions are highly risky due to what we're dealing with. The mine itself is a real danger, as are the explosive devices we use. Therefore, we have to approach it with extra care.
Today, the risk level is lower. This is just an exercise, so the divers are prepared for the next sea mine they encounter. This beautiful Romanian coastline in Constanta is just a few nautical miles away. Soon it will be packed with tourists. Those already here have heard of the danger.
I hope it will be safe. I can go with my family, but not so deep, maybe 15-10 meters from the sand.
Hopefully they will manage to keep it safe, hopefully.
This mine contained 30 kilos of explosives. So far, those spotted in the Black Sea have all been designed to be triggered by a boat, not a person. Even so, the Romanian Navy is trying to keep all sea mines away from the shore. They have found 5 since last year, one of them at the beach.
5 is not a big number, but just one mine ending up in the wrong place and at the wrong time can cause much damage and destruction. We're talking about ships and infrastructure like ports, for instance. The risk is always there.
Jorge's team were 5 before the war. Fear of mines has pushed the number down to just 2. It makes everything harder.
It's more difficult to fish, much more difficult. These mines, if you catch one in your net and bring it close to the ship, it could explode right next to you. That's when it's dangerous. But what can we do? We have to keep fishing to survive.
Jorge doesn't know how long he can keep his fishing business going. Fear of sea mines will continue long after the war in Ukraine is over.
And let's hear now from Johannes Peters with the Center for Maritime Strategy and Security at Kiel University. Welcome to the program. Put this problem into perspective for us. How big is the threat from sea mines in the region in and around Ukraine since the Russian invasion?
Good morning. It's something we don't know exactly, actually. So both sides have accused each other for planting mines and have accused each other for not handling them properly. But we're not quite sure, actually, how big the mine threat actually is.
You've mentioned it there, and we heard it in our piece as well, that Ukraine and Russia are each blaming each other for releasing sea mines. What's your assessment?
It's clear, and it's no secret. It's that Ukraine mined their coastal territory to protect their harbors, especially around the area of Odessa, to prevent Russia from an amphibious landing. So that's something that we know. There have been reports by Russian intelligence agencies stating that several hundred mines moored by the Ukrainians were torn loose during a storm and were now drifting all around the Black Sea. That's not highly likely, actually, because there were only very, very few mines that were actually discovered drifting around. On the other side, the Ukrainians blamed the Russians for purposely putting these mines into the water, letting them drift away to undermine their statement and to prevent the international shipping from grain exports from Ukraine. So that's the status quo. We don't know exactly how many mines have been planted, where exactly, and we don't know the exact danger of floating mines.
How difficult is it to carry out the actual demining, would you say?
Demining is always a risky business, and it's a time-consuming business, actually. And this is something that depends whether you do it under a threat by an opponent or whether you do it in peacetime. It's a different thing. It's a different thing how many mines you want to clear. Do we want to clear a certain area just to make it the risk bearable for passing through with naval units? That's something different than making a proper mine sweep to make it safe for commercial shipping again. So there are a lot of aspects coming around there, but it is for sure a risky and time-consuming business.
Maritime safety expert Johannes Peters, thank you so much.
You're welcome.